Let's move on. We move on to Pittsburgh Steelers, 9-7, 3-5 on the road at the Cincinnati Bengals, 10-7, 5-4 at home, Paycor Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. Scattered thunderstorm, 74 Fahrenheit, 7 miles per hour. I'm excited to talk about the Steelers here. Very excited. I'm very interested in what everybody has to say about this squad, and I think there's money to be made on them. First off, this opened with the Steelers plus 6.5 at minus 107. Minus 105. It's now minus 107. From a total perspective, it opened up at 44.5. At a basic pick'em, there's a tiny bit of money on the under now, or juice, I should say, added juice to the under 44.5. Let's see where the money is in this Steelers Bengals matchup. 23,315 tickets in. 33% of the tickets and 40% of the cash is on the Steelers. 48% of the tickets and 71% of the cash is on the under. What I was thinking quite a lot about, and I wanted to talk it out before I move, was on a Steelers team total over in this game. Let's just see what is available for me as we speak here. Pull it up. Here we go.
I was trying to do this math in my head. You divide into 44.5 and then add in half the total. And it's just, I'm never very good at this on the fly. You should be able to get a 19.5, I would think.
17.5. Ooh. The number. And not only is it at 17.5, but it's juiced to the under. And I find this extremely appealing, but wanted to talk it out with you guys. Now, in saying all this, Mohammed Joma says Trubisky very underrated. I've never felt that before until this year, until watching Ben play last year. I agree with you. Let's see. But remember, I like this team total over, but we see sharp money on the under, 48% of the tickets, 71% of the cash. Last year, the Bengals swept the Steelers, ran all the way to the Super Bowl. The Steelers only managed 10 points a game against the Bengals last season. Could the Bengals be dealing with the Super Bowl hangover? Last season, the Steelers shocked everybody by beating the Bills in Week 1. Maybe that's playing in my head right now. In the 2 games against the Bengals, Roethlisberger was sacked 7 times. 2017 second overall pick Mitch Trubisky is more than capable of having a stronger year than what we saw from Big Ben. And we do know that it is Kenny Pickett who is the backup quarterback now. They announced that yesterday, I believe. Najee Harris had a giant rookie season, 1,200 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns, caught 74 passes for 467 yards and 3 TDs. Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson lead a strong receiving group. And this looks to be a very strong defense. You have Hayward, Ogunjobi, Alualu up front. You have TJ Watt and Miles Jack. You have Minka Fitzpatrick, Terrell Edmonds, Cameron Sutton, Levi Wallace in a loaded secondary. This is a dangerous defense. Can the Bengals avoid the Super Bowl hangover? Joe Burrow was exceptional last season, 4,611 yards, 34 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins look to continue where they left off last year. Tyler Boyd rounds out this great group. Joe Mixon ran for 1,205 yards and 13 touchdowns. The Bengals strengthened their offensive line in the offseason. They added Alex Kappa and La'el Collins. This defense blossomed in front of our eyes in the second half of the year. Trey Hendrickson anchors the defensive line with Hubbard, Wyatt Hubert, DJ Reader, and Joseph Osai. Jermaine Pratt, Akeem Davis-Gaither, Logan Wilson, and Marcus Bailey lead the linebacking core. Eli Apple resurrected his career. I took so much shit in the chat for saying Eli Apple's playing good football right now, and people went off on me. He is listed as questionable for Week 1. Chidobe Awuzie, Von Bell, Jesse Bates, Trey Flowers are big parts of the secondary. I can't wait to hear your breakdown. I'm really excited about this football game. Take it away, Andy. Steelers, Bengals.
Yeah, same kind of thing as I mentioned. You get a divisional game like this, you're going to see some under money. You're going to see some dog money. That's just kind of how these things roll. And that's a little bit, not a ton, I guess, is what I'm looking at for line movement. I get it. I was really cold on the Bengals at the beginning of the year. And to be fair, I said, hey, this team could win like 2 games if Burrow doesn't work out. And I bet a Bengals under 2.5 regular season wins all at like a big price. They won more playoff games than that, Jimmy. So that a lot of mud on my face for that one. But what are you going to do? And yeah, the regression thing, people talk about that. It doesn't just automatically happen. A lot of it has to be due to luck. And I really don't know if this is regression proof, almost like recession proof. I don't know if it's regression proof, but man, they have the pieces that work in today's NFL. They have a quarterback that gets it. They have a good passing game. They did fix the offensive line. It's not like they went out and picked up 3 Pro Bowlers, but they picked up 3 pieces that were better than what they had. So this offensive line should improve. I'm actually kind of down on both defenses. I'm a little more bearish on both defenses. There are a bunch of defensive pieces that I like. They have a lot of big names. But again, you go back and look at the Steelers' stats for last year, they were down closer to the middle of the pack in some of the defensive metrics I care about. And it's wild because it just doesn't jive in your brain when you have the defensive player of the year, guy that gets yourself 22.5 sacks. But I don't know that this defense can be wholly effective, holistic, from a holistic standpoint. And the same thing goes for the Bengals. I don't believe in this defense. This offense is what's going to pull it. And honestly, I don't hate Mitch Trubisky if he's used right. If you remember 2018, when they just let the guy be a running quarterback who wasn't asked to do a ton as like a pocket passer at most of the time, that was a fun Bears team. Again, opportunistic defense, but he can play. And I do think you have an upgrade over Big Ben, who couldn't move his feet at all. You said he got sacked 7 times. Well, that's not fair. The guy couldn't pick his feet up. So I think I kind of like this over, and I hate that I do, but this is one I'm going to monitor. If we continue to see some under money in a divisional game like this, if there gets to be a reasonable 44 out there, I love this Bengals offense. And I think the Steelers defense has enough pieces that Mitch Trubisky playing middle of the pack football gets this team to like 20 points. Because honestly, I really like the wide receivers. I like the addition of Pickens and even Najee Harris. And I mean, they force fed him. The poor kid had to run way more than he probably thought he was going to have to last year, but he was pretty effective behind a bad offensive line. That is probably the only knock on this handicap. The Steelers offensive line still not great. Worry about that a little, but Mitch, obviously, even if he had a sprained ankle and a walking boot, I think he's more, he's more elusive than what we saw last year from Big Ben.
I agree. There's some talk about the spot here because a lot of people are seeing 18.5, 19.5. It's live right now at Bet365, 17.5, and juice to the under. I'm going to move on this. I feel the same way as you. It's the sharps or the bigger bets coming in on the under that has kept me off the full game over. But if I feel that way and I like the dog, I automatically go to that team total for the dog. And I'm going to move on this. So Pittsburgh team total over 17.5 will be bet after the show. And I'll put it all out on Twitter as I always do with my record every single night. So there you have it. Steelers, Bengals, a possible move for Andy on the over if it drops. And we move on.
We at Pop Sports Radio are doing our own Cappers contest. $100 entry fee. We will all be competing against each other. Every single cent that's put in will go into the prizes.
You've got 5 picks every week. If you go to pubsportsradio.com, you buy yourself that little ticket that you see on the website right there. Just hit add a cart. You buy the little ticket right there. And after you buy the ticket, you'll get an email with a link and a specific password for you to log in, make your picks, and all that good jam.
So it coincides, of course, with a survivor pool. 1 pick per week, sports survivor pool. That's exciting. We're having a Cappers contest, 5 picks against the spread each week, and a survivor contest. We all get to toast the victors and roast the losers. The Cappers contest at Pub Sports Radio. All you have to do is go to pubsportsradio.com to sign up.